All right, here we go. I had a video going. Camera got hot and cut off on me. It's done got sunny and hot here in Tennessee. But anyway, I was going to show you about these clips, Jim and Gary. But I keep mine in a 5-gallon bucket. There's about 1,200 in that bucket. That's what I'm down to out of 2,000 for this garden. I use it as a seat. And this is one of the spots that I'm having trouble with in my garden. These are Armenian cucumbers. It rained the whole week. They came up and they got beat up pretty bad. And they're starting to come back. But they can't quite reach the cattle panel because that's about an 18 or 20 inch drop right there. So what I'm going to do is string this up. I've tied string. This is just some Vigoro string. Usually have jute, but I'm out right now. And there's a clip that's already clipped on. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to open this and show you how the string lays in the clip. You can see how it locks. But the string sits right in there. And when you close this, pinches the string on the inside. Now, these things will hold a lot of weight. Once you've got this on there, I mean, it's there, man. I can yank. I can bend on the clip itself. I can make the clip bend. It won't go anywhere. What you want to do when you use these things, you want to try to clip it below a Y, like under here. Something like that if you can. If you can't get it clipped there, find you an alternative location. You can use more than one clip, obviously, as you've seen on my tomatoes. But anyway, let me find a spot and I will clip it and I'll come right back. Alright, you don't want the plant to be under stress, so I've left a little bit of slack in there where this can slide up and down. What I'm going to do, I'm going to put another clip right up here and put it on the other Y, and I'll be right back when I'm done with that. Okay, I think you can see what I've done here. I've got this clip underneath this Y. That keeps it away from any fruit that might set here. This is where your flowers and tendrils and everything normally come from. Of course, this is an Armenian. It may be a little different. I put a second one under this Y, and then I wrapped the growing point around the string. So as it gets a little bigger, I can do that again. You don't have to do that. You can just use another clip. Like I can put another clip here in a bit. Say 3 or 4 days, I can put another clip right there. By then, I should have some tendrils that are going to start grabbing and get a hold of this cattle panel right here. This cattle panel will hold a lot of weight. They're under $5 a piece. I think these are 5.5 footers. I would suggest going with 6s. They're sunk pretty good. And the cattle panel is wired. This is a junction of 2 cattle panels. This is right dead center of 4 cattle panels. They are 50 inches by 16 feet. So this is basically a 32-foot run, 31 foot, because I'm overlapping, I guess, about 6-8 inches right there. There are my dwarf Taylor beans. I did not know they were runners. I thought they were supposed to be bush, but this is the only place I had to plant them, so it worked out. They're climbing. The other row over there is my rattlesnake beans, and there's a couple of volunteer cucumbers in there. I'm managing their growth pretty well. I'm getting rid of most of the growth points. I just want to see what came back. There's another one right Actually, two of them right down here. Pardon my shaking. I'm getting old. And right there, let me get in here closer. That is the Indian zebra that I think I'm gonna pick before some other critter gets it. So that's what I'm doing. I got 3 more of these to do. I got to get them up off the ground. And then I'll show you a couple other ways that I use these clips also. It might come in handy for one or the other of you. All right, there we go. Decided I'm only going to keep 2 of these. I really don't want anything to interfere with my beans. Those are pretty important to us. And that's a fun tomato right there. That's a humongous mong. That is one tomato. Well, excuse me, there's a little bitty one behind it. But the rest of that is one tomato, folks. I'll show you what it looks like when it becomes ripe. I'll be back in a second and show you a couple other ways I use these clips. Cucumbers. I think that one's climbing on its own, but it was originally strung, as you can see right down there. These are starting to bloom. These were a lot earlier than the ones I put out as seed. These were already up. There's a bean right there. That storm that came through earlier, it is really humid and hot out here, folks. Sun's out after a couple hours of storming, and it did knock some beans down. I lost that video earlier when my phone overheated. It also knocked some of my other cucumbers down. These are my munchers. And then over here is the white wonders. So I've already pinned them back up with these clips. But you can also use them to train your beans. And this is going to be hard to do with a camera. And I'm not good at this. But anyway, you just basically want to get it somewhere and just pin it up. The plant will take care of the rest. All the rest of them are pretty good, or I've already pinned them up. I'll go around here to these other cucumbers, because there's something else on these I want to show you. I'm managing these cucumbers pretty well as far as growth points and things go. I'm going to let them come up about probably right up in here, and then I'm going to let each of them branch, and then once they get up here on the trellis further, I'm just going to leave them alone, let them do what they want to and have fun. If they survive the cucumber beetles that long, that is. But I wanted to show you a little watering system I got in here, which I don't advise people do this that aren't going to prune the leaves up. But I've got a weeper hose here, and I also use those clips to hold the weeper hose to my cattle panel. So you can do anything you want to. You could follow the perimeter of this if you wanted to. And then, of course, for tomatoes, these are my Italian beef hearts. It's a little craziness right there. That was the first big tomato that I put out down here. But you can see I just I try to hit, this one needs to be moved to above this. I try to hit these at a point to where I know it's not going to interfere with any fruit trusses or any suckers. Of course, a lot of suckers are getting pruned. I only keep some of the suckers that are going with the cattle panel. If they're coming out or if they're going back through the other direction, those go. But they've done gotten too tall for me to do anything with, so they're on their own up there. And I'm 6'2", so that's up there. And that's about it, y'all. If I can think of something else I'm using them for, I'll pop back on before I end the video and show it to you. I remember what it was. Jim was going to show you these cages. These are made out of the concrete mesh. Now, they didn't offer galvanized down here. I think if you're along the coast or somewhere that has really salty soil, that you can probably get the galvanized. But these are 7 foot tall. They come 84 inches. I think that is about 20 or 22 wide. So each piece, they cost me $7 a piece. Each piece will make 2 sides if you want them square. I've done them triangle, and they work just fine, but you kind of have to more single stem them. You can't let them go nuts like I'm letting these do. I'm just going to let these do what they want to, because I got all my manicured stuff back here, and this is all my cannon tomatoes right here. That's a whole row of Rutgers. And then I've got down here, I'm about to show you some San Marzanos. But a couple of delicious. The 2 center are black creme, and these back here are my favorite brandy wines. And this is the San Marzanos. Now these are the exact same cages as the one you just saw, but I cut them in half, and I left an end sticking down so they go 6 inches into the ground too to help keep them steady. But in between each pair, I might find it. There it is a T-post. So I skipped every other row with the cage. You can see the cage skips. You got a cage, empty cage. And I had all this bamboo, so I just put the bamboo across it, and it's holding them back. So these are just starting to bloom good. So I've got a lot of fruit set already, but they're really just now starting to bloom good. There's a lot of tomatoes in the middle, so these are either going to be salsa or whole canned tomatoes. I don't know which yet. So those are my cages, Jim. You were asking about cages. This is the 3rd year for these cages. They're still doing just fine. I'm sure they'll last me another 10 or 15. And I do have some of the old cheap ones, but I find these on the side of the road, and people throwing them away. That's with the exception of these short, stocky ones right here. Those are really sturdy. I like them for peppers and small stuff. But last year, my peppers were up here at 6, 7 feet tall, and everything just started falling over on itself. It was nuts. I couldn't keep up with it. So I topped some of my peppers this year, hoping to keep them a little bushier. We'll see how it goes. And those are supposed to be baby bush limas, but that sure looks like a half runner right there. Oh well. Y'all have a great day, and cattle panels and those clips, I just love that system.